Marketing automation isn't just a buzzword, it's an entire industry. From connector apps like Zapier to email marketing platforms that include complete CRM functionality, it's never been easier to integrate all of your marketing, sales, and promotional tools. But just because you can automate everything, does that mean you should? Today, we're joined by Kasey Bayne, Head of Marketing at DataTrue, for a look at what types of projects brands can automate, what you should automate, and what you should avoid putting on autopilot. Stay tuned for all that and more. Welcome back to Marketing is Broken, the weekly series where we've tried very hard to automate with truly upsetting results.
He's going to fall over. He's fallen over.
It's a greasy pitch. That's no excuse. He's over. He's wriggling around on the floor. He's standing up. He's up again. He's down.
If you've dipped your toe into the world of automation, you know it can be an incredibly convenient time saver. Auto-posting to social media, sending lightning-fast customer service responses, delighting clients with postcards or gifts. But as anyone who's ever faced off with a self-checkout machine can attest, sometimes the very things meant to make life easier turn it into a mind-blowingly frustrating, deeply dehumanizing ordeal. So how do you know when you've reached the ideal level of automation? Is there any realm in which we can enjoy the bliss of our content production, publishing, and sales outreach all smoothly gliding along without the horror of a sudden glitch in the matrix causing chaos? The simple answer? Start with automated emails. A new article by Susan Cornelius for Entrepreneur dives into the 5 types of auto emails most businesses should be sending, including number 1, customer service follow-up emails, number 2, post-purchase thank you emails offering another product for sale, number 3, form submission responses, 4, abandoned cart reminders, and lastly, number 5, authentic, simple thank you emails. Here to chat more with us today about the pros and pitfalls of marketing automation is Kasey Bayne, Head of Marketing at DataTrue. Stick around while we ask Kasey how she decides what to automate, what to handle manually, and how to avoid those all too common cringeworthy customer experiences. What questions do you ask yourself when deciding whether or not to automate a marketing task?
Yeah, so the most important thing that you want to think about is really what is your goal? Like, what are you trying to do here? And also not just what is your goal as a marketer, but really like what is the customer or the prospect trying to get out of this? So they might be, subscribing to your blog or downloading a white paper, but what's kind of the best customer experience that you can provide to them at this point? I love to map out the process. So this is like pulling out a pen and paper, going up to the whiteboard and just mapping out on an ideal situation, like what would be our customer journey here. And that way I can decide what parts of things need to be automated. I think realizing as a marketer, when you get these new tools, it's really exciting to be able to, automate everything. But part of it is just figuring out where's marketing automation actually going to make the biggest impact for you. One of the projects I actually just worked on yesterday was setting up a new marketing automation process for our sales reps when somebody does a certain action on our website and becomes a marketing qualified lead. Rather than automating the follow-up email, I actually have automated it. So instead, our sales rep gets an email so they can send it the personal email and really do that personal touch. Yeah, so it's not only about automating the messages that your customers, your prospects are getting, but also being able to communicate with your team and making sure that everybody is just on top of new leads and new customer questions as they come in.
That's a great point. So sometimes you're just automating operations or helping
exactly
kind of scale your own human people on your team. That's a great.
Mm-hmm.
So when what should marketers keep in mind if they don't want to like worsen the customer experience, and how do we avoid kind of going down that automation rabbit hole to the detriment of the customer?
Yeah, it is. This is a great question and something that you really want to think about. Nobody likes getting, 5 different email drip campaigns just because you viewed a bunch of blog posts on a certain company site, which I'm sure that we've all experienced. So this is where mapping out your customer journey is really important. You want to know not only what is the ideal situation for your customer, also kind of map out what the possibilities are and who is doing what. If you're a smaller marketing team and you're control of all the customer messaging. That might just be going through all of your systems and seeing what kind of emails are going out. But if you're working with sales or customer success people, you want to make sure that you know who is doing what and what is happening. Especially for a lot of SaaS companies, which is where I've spent most of my career, there's a lot of system emails that go out if people forget their password or if their credit card is coming close to expired. You want to make sure that you're including that stuff in your overview as well. Not just to make sure, the tone and messaging fits what you're doing, but if the customer or the prospect is getting a bunch of marketing emails from you, but also getting like credit card reminders, that's not going to be a great experience. So the main thing here is just making sure that you know what's happening for your business and for your customers. And of course, always make sure that you're testing things. See what automations are working, converting, engaging your audience. Not everything's going to convert to a sale right away, as much as marketers, we would love that, but kind of thinking through each piece and knowing, okay, you know what? This particular piece of content, this lead generator, we get a lot of downloads, which is great, but people aren't buying right after. Kind of making sure that okay, you know what, this is actually like a top of funnel piece. So we're actually getting people into our funnel that way. And even though the conversion rate for that particular piece is low, they then move on to the rest of the funnel. And that kind of stuff is, one, just like exciting as a marketer, but two, it's great to be able to tell your clients or your CEO or your board or whoever you might be, reporting to or sharing this information with, to be able to really map out the marketing funnel rather than just looking at each piece individually and kind of showing how they're all working together.
Sure. That's great. And kind of last question here. You mentioned kind of having this overview or having this map, this customer journey map to kind of keep an audit or keep track of where these different touch points are and what softwares are sending them. How do you choose which software is actually doing which task, right? Because there's a lot of overlap. And so what do you have any rules of thumb for, one should do as much as possible and then, you kind of fill it in with the rest, or you should always use the best tool for the job and kind of glue them together? How should we think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we've all seen that giant MarTech chart that they release every year with, thousands of different tools out there. And this is something that can definitely be intimidating, especially if this is the first time that you're implementing marketing automation at your company. So my general rule is it's just the most important thing is to find something that works for you. It doesn't necessarily need to be like the best thing out there, but you want to make a list of what your actual requirements are. And that'll really help you figure out what do you need right now. And maybe think like a little bit ahead so that next year you're not having to do a whole migration, which is a headache in and of itself. But make a list of your requirements, talk to friends and colleagues and see what you need. For me, I'm a big HubSpot fan. It is very user-friendly, but also lets you export the data into Excel because I'm definitely a proud Excel nerd. So when you want to do advanced reporting and that kind of stuff, so that functionality is great. And really making it as user-friendly for yourself and for your team as possible.
Fantastic ideas for marketing automation. Kasey Bayne, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
What marketing tasks have you automated? Did it save you time? And what kind of trade-offs were there in the customer experience? What are things that should always be automated or never automated? Share your thoughts in the comments and you might just win yourself some new Brandish Insights gear. We'll see you next time. Hey, it's Josh from Brandish Insights. Thank you for watching Marketing is Broken. If you like this week's episode, please click below to subscribe or check out other episodes. And if your company could use more insights around your branding efforts, check out brandishinsights.com.